All right, we got Declan 6.7 here. He's doing a grid heater delete and doing a new intake horn on his deleted 6.7. To get a grid heater delete on these trucks, you have to do a whole new intake plenum, or you can cut it out, but he's getting a full new one and a new horn. This is what they look like. This part came off eBay. It actually looks really good quality. That dent is there for an injector line. We both thought that it was fucked up as well. Here's a new intake plenum. I can leave the parts below. So we're just starting to take this thing apart. We're popping all 6 of those 10 mil intakes off. Got the oil fill disconnected. Got that intercooler boot disconnected. And then we're gonna start taking injector lines off and getting all that clear. All right, got all the bolts out. There's one on the wiring harness back here that we forgot about, but there's 2 wires that you need to unplug too. I forgot about those the first time I pulled this off. But yeah, it just slides out. You can't really tell now because I cleaned the crap out of it, but all these dark spots around here, those were all covered in soot. I had a crazy amount. I probably pulled out 2 or 3 fistfuls of just soot from when this was a truck with emissions on it. It was like absolutely caked in there, like impeding the airflow caked. And the inside here, yeah, what's funny is where, you know, after it got deleted, this piece got put on and it was perfectly clean. I mean, we cleaned it more, but it was clean, and up there was just absolutely caked. So that's another reason why we thought about doing this, because we wanted to pull that intake plenum off and see what it looked like under there, because we're both kind of curious. So, and on top of the grid heater, there was a bunch of soot that was all right up in there. Yeah, I took a pick and a vacuum, and I was trying to get most of the crud out that I could. But yeah, so we're gonna pop those injector plugs off, do the vents, and start turning those injector lines off. And yeah, okay, so comparing the 2 intake horns here, this one comes with 2 extra ports on the back. I figure that's like 1/8 inch or something for gauges. It comes with a hole down here for that sensor. This is another factory sensor. We just kind of noticed that this thread is a lot bigger than this, so we're gonna try to figure out a way to make that work. So we just did some research on this sensor right here, and it's an EGT sensor. At first we were like, what the fuck, it's not in the exhaust, but when this thing had emissions on it, that's where the emissions went in, so it probably tested where or what that temperature was. Make sure the cooler's actually working. Yeah, so we're going to try to leave it unplugged and see if it throws a code, see what happens. If not, I'm kind of thinking we can just leave it plugged in into its atmosphere, because that's going to be the temperature of the air. Well, not the exact, but pretty close what's in the tubes. So we'll keep you posted on what happens there. Just put some Loctite on those holes or on the threads, and we're going to make sure it'll seal. But those are through holes, so they're not MPT or anything like that. I was wrong. So we're going to just send it with that and see what happens. Yeah, I didn't have any thread tape. Yeah, that's the correct way to do it, but we don't have any thread tape right now. Yeah, I'll probably go buy some and do it later this week. That's easy money. But yeah, that's for now. If you were doing this, put thread tape on it. Don't be us. Injector lines off. Number 6 is just as hard, probably harder than 5/9. There's a bunch of brackets in the way and it's a real pain in the dick. But we got it out. Declan's pulling the rail off right now. Just more 10 mils, and we'll pop that rail off and then start popping that plenum off. All the bolts are out of the plenum. We're about to pop it off and see what it looks like under there. Oh no. I felt it. Oh, that is gnarly. Oh, yeah, it's pretty caked. Yeah, so if you deleted, this truck was deleted at 100K. That's pretty low for, I mean, there's no like average mile for when you delete them, but like 100K, I don't see too many 100K deleted trucks. Yeah, and that shit is, look at that. Oh, that can fuck up your cylinders and curse some grooves in there. But I mean, noted it's stuck on there, but if it breaks off. And then this is what we were saying about, you can just use your stock plenum if you want to do some cutting. You can't really tell from this, but there's a bolt here. This heating element comes out, and then you have to cut I forget exactly where. I watched some YouTube videos, but yeah, you have to cut. Oh, it's on this side right here.
Well,
you have to cut that completely out because you can't get to that nut. It's just not worth it to me to
so
do
the
it.
time it takes to clean all that shit off of there and cut that out, it's worth buying the what? How much was that new one?
I think it was like 68 bucks.
60 bucks. It's not worth your time. So that's why I got a new one, and we're gonna do our best to clean that out and clean that up without getting shit everywhere, and then throw the new one on.
All we're doing is I'm taking the vacuum and scraping it with a screwdriver and trying to suck a lot of that crap out of there. And then we'll go back with brake clean and a rag and try to clean it out super good. Just try to get the best we can, but yeah. All right, we got that thing as best cleaned out as we can. It's pretty clean in there. You can kind of see it. It's not bad. We brake cleaned it out, vacuumed it all out, so it looks a lot better in there. He's starting the new intake Plenum on right now and gonna put it all back together and see how this intake horn fits. Clean out all the injector lines and the rail with brake clean, and now we're gonna blow some air in them, clean them all out real good, and start throwing it back together. And that's all buttoned up, and now we're working on running. There's a wire that ran to your grid heater, thank you, and ripping that out. It's this one right here. So ripping that out, it runs back over here to the solenoid, which is right there. So we're gonna take that wire off and power that solenoid off. Hey, there's a there's a better look at the solenoid right there. I'm gonna pop those two wires off, and those are like 12 or 13s. This is a wire that runs to the battery. That one over there, so one that runs all the way over there. Declan's having a great time ripping that one out right now. Yeah, got most of it out already. There's some pesky clips, but yeah, I'm able to pop them out. So we're gonna get that thing all buttoned up. We'll probably just cap off these two wires. That's how it is on my truck. So we'll just do that, and then yeah, we'll get it ripped out. Pop it in there and see if it fits.
Nice and tight.
Ooh, yeah, here we go. It's gonna sit right out there.
It looks pretty sweet.
Yeah, it does. All right, she's all back together. New intake horn is in. It fits. Comes with that little relocation bracket for the oil fill level. Those bolts were kind of a pain because if you see, there is a bolt right between those two pipes under there. Well, it's the next day, and if you see that, the stock intake your intake horn is back on there. So long story short, we put it in, and there was a big old and we found a leak in it, like a pretty gnarly leak. Where is it?
Up top, was over.
So Declan tried to weld it back, but it just started having holes everywhere. As you can see the nice pile of weld.
Yeah.
So that's gonna sit up on the shelf and be a nice paperweight. Lesson learned, buy the expensive one. That one was only 80 bucks and the other ones are like 400, so yeah. Better luck next time.